So, with the release of Venom: The Last Dance, we have now had 5 films in this weird Sony Spider-Man universe that they're trying to build. Their own version of the MCU, which is a giant sort of connected universe in the Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. It's a weird universe that I don't really think has stuck the landing yet, outside of the Venom films, which have all been financially successful. They've been critically sort of mixed, and of course you had Madam Web, and you also had Morbius that were gigantic shitballs. Now, of course, there are a lot more of these films that are potentially coming, a lot of films that are either in development or are already filmed and about to be released. These are films that could be decent, they could be absolutely horrible, but in this video I want to talk about kind of what the future is of this Sony Spider-Verse, and trying to figure out what the hell they're doing, and if this universe is already dead before it's even kind of started. Now, obviously, spoilers for Venom 3, if you haven't seen it, that film set up this brand new villain, Null. At the end of that film, Venom and Eddie Brock, they split. Venom essentially dies, and yeah, he's done being Venom, at least for now. I'm sure in the multiverse they'll bring him back in, like, the Avengers movies, but regardless, Venom is done. But you have this gigantic villain, Null, out there that is still lingering over the universe and will likely return. And Sony is setting up in this universe a team-up of characters that are going to essentially take down Null. We know that they want to do a Sinister Six sort of build-up. They've wanted to do it ever since they tried making a sort of connected universe in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. We had the Sinister Six set up in Morbius when they brought up Michael Caine and brought him into their universe. Does this actually work? No, not at all, but that's clearly what they're building toward. And we can see it with some of these other movies that are coming out. Of course, next month we will be getting a Kraven the Hunter movie. This is a movie that was supposed to come out last year. It filmed like 2 years ago, and it just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed, which usually is a red flag. There hasn't been much of a marketing campaign on this movie, and although I actually think the trailers for this look badass, it looks dark and brutal and just kind of cool, and I love the character of Kraven the Hunter, just my spidey sense is telling me this is probably going to be a pile of poop, and even if it's not, it is going to likely bomb at the box office. But Kraven is a character that I think they want to be set up into a major Sinister Six type villain. Or at least in this weird Sinister Six team up that's going to team up against Null without Spider-Man, because they haven't brought Spider-Man in this universe for some reason. But outside of Kraven the Hunter, Sony doesn't have that many movies that are lined up that are actually filming, or TV shows that are actually in the works. They have a bunch of stuff that is announced. There was that weird Bad Bunny announced movie. I think the character's name is El Muerto. I know Bad Bunny dropped out of it, so that film seems like it is dead. There was also a Silk series that was being developed by Angela Kang, the same woman who's in charge of The Walking Dead at the moment. That also appears to be dead because they wanted to make the show too male-focused or something. I don't know. There's still rumors that there is a Spider-Woman series or movie in development at Sony, but there isn't really any concrete news or anything on that. Sony does have a bunch of release dates, and they still seem, despite the misses in a lot of these films, they seem very sort of motivated to keep going with the Spider-Man universe. Even after Morbius, even after Madam Web, they see the success with the Venom films, and they just keep going. They keep pushing it. And of course, they have the Spider-Verse films. We will be getting Beyond the Spider-Verse at some point in the next couple years. That film and that universe, that sort of trilogy of films, is a massive success. Keep making those, Sony. But they just keep on making these Sony films, these Spider-Man universe films that, despite the fact that they're not succeeding, they just seem determined to try to make it work. And we know there is a Sinister Six film that may or may not be in development. It's been in development for about 10 years. Apparently it's a weird script that includes some sort of Jurassic Park type dinosaur island. I don't know, but that is something they're clearly building towards, of course, with Null as the villain. There is one project in this new Sony-verse, which I don't know if it takes place in the Venom-verse or if it's going to be its own multiversal thing, but it's something I'm extraordinarily interested in. The fact that it is being filmed and it is a real thing is something that gets me so excited, and I'm talking about the new series that's going to be on Amazon called Spider-Noir. This is going to be about Spider-Man Noir, starring Nick Cage, who of course voiced the character in the Spider-Verse films, and I don't know if this is going to be the same exact version of the character as in those films, but this show is described as being a dark detective mystery noir. That Spider-Man, that dark black and whitish Spider-Man, if you ever remember that old video game where you played as Spider-Man Noir, that is what I'm imagining, a whole show about that with Nick Cage as the lead. This is genius. Nick Cage didn't get to play Superman, now he gets to play a live-action Spider-Man. God damn it. If you're not excited about the Spider-Man Noir show, like, get excited about it. I hope this thing is amazing. This is one of my most anticipated superhero projects, period. Spider-Man Noir is such a cool character, and if they do this right, if they handle this series with the care it deserves and they don't make something generic like they have done with the recent Sony projects, this could be something really terrific, and Nick Cage is just epic. Now, what else is Sony planning? I mean, there's a lot of things they could do that are just not going to make a lot of money if they keep making movies about these villains. They could keep going with Venom, which would be successful box office-wise, but personally, I don't want to see any more of these movies. They could, of course, make the rumored Spider-Man 4. No, not the Tom Holland one that's definitely coming out, but a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi back to direct. I think that a lot of people would be very receptive to something like that, and of course I do think we're going to get more Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in the Avengers Secret Wars and those movies, but a full-on solo movie with him, I think people would absolutely adore that just for the nostalgia reasons. It would be a slam dunk. I also think The Amazing Spider-Man 3 would be an amazing slam dunk hit. Now, there is that fear of it might confuse people. You have a Spider-Man, with Tom Holland, his movie, and then a year later, an Amazing Spider-Man movie. It could confuse audiences, but I think we're smart enough at a point where you can have these kind of coinciding characters at the same time on film, and it could really, really work. People are smart enough to know the difference between the two and to get excited about both. Those are films that I think are slam dunks that I think maybe we'll get one of. I don't know if we're going to get all of them, but that is the direction that Sony should be taking it. Just make the stuff that people want. What do people want? They want more Spider-Man, and to be honest, I don't think they care which of the 3 Spider-Man they get. They kind of just want all 3, to be honest. I also think it would be smart to do a Miles Morales live-action movie. Maybe they're waiting for the Spider-Verse stuff to be done, but this seems like an inevitability. Miles Morales has become one of the greatest characters in the comic book world. People absolutely adore him due to the Spider-Verse films and due to the Spider-Man video games. He is such an excellent character, and whether his character is going to be brought in through the MCU and the Tom Holland verse, or with an Andrew Garfield or a Tobey Maguire, I don't know, or something completely different without any of those core Spider-Man. I have no idea, but that is a story that needs to be brought to the big screen. It can be done super well and super amazing, and I think we all want to see it. So do I think the Sony Spider-Man universe is dead? No, I don't think it's dead, mainly because Sony is going to keep it alive long after it's gone. I mean, the Sony Spider-Man universe is essentially the Joe Biden of movie universes. Yes, it's dead and everybody knows it, but we're going to keep letting them go on for a little bit longer, aren't we? Let Amy Pascal sniff more children. I'm sorry. But I do think there is still potential to do something really incredible and fun with the filmmaking, making unique projects like the Spider-Man Noir stuff, and of course bringing back the nostalgia characters like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. There is also potential to make more shit like Madam Web. So, yeah, I expect to get more movies like that, including Kraven the Hunter in about a month, which maybe it'll be good. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe for more notifications. I'll see you in the next one.